I was going to make a little video on the on Hebrews 1:8. It's got an interesting construction in Greek and in Hebrew. The main verb, especially a linking verb, can be absent, and we call it in ellipsis. That is, it's understood even though it's not present in the text. That it can, that's a feature of both Hebrew and and Greek, and we have this in Hebrews 1:8, which is, I think, going back to Psalm 45. And so the Hebrew has that same kind of feature. So in Greek, there's a construction which is the nominative for a vocative. And so the nominative case can be used with the article for a vocative case. So with the word God, o theos, o is the article. I use a modern Greek pronunciation, or close to modern Greek. It's a reconstruction by Randall Booth of the Koine Greek. So it's not Erasmian. In Erasmian, we'd say ha theos, but in the reconstruction, o theos, and so you don't pronounce the rough breathing sound in the reconstruction. Anyways, o theos could be a vocative, meaning something like "Oh God." The actual vocative case is the "a." That is how it would be construed or constructed in Greek, and it would be "O the," but that would be an omega, not an omicron. Micron, micro means little. The O big, mega, omega, and the omicron, the little o. So we have two O's in Greek. But with the actual vocative case, you have the omega with the construal of for theos would be the. But we may have a vocative for a nominative for a vocative at Hebrews 1:8, where you've got o theos o thronos. So that could be God is your throne. So that is a possible reading. What would that mean? That would mean that God is the source of the throne of the king forever, Isaionos, for eternity. And so the psalmist who's writing this is, I think it's attributed to the sons of Asaph, and they're waxing eloquent and poetic about this kingly figure, whoever he is, maybe Solomon, maybe David, and they're waxing poetic about him, and so speaking of him in glorified terms, elevated terms. The other reading would be, "Oh, your God is your throne. Oh God, your throne is forever." So that would be possible as well. And if that's the case, then what we understand is that the psalmist from Psalm 45 was willing to have this king spoken of in divine terms as God. And because he sits on God's throne, he represents God. And just as we have in 1 Chronicles 29, I think it's 20, the whole nation bows down and to God and the king, David in that instance. So it would seem that the king can be spoken of as God because he is on God's throne. So both of those are possible, and I kind of like the second reading is that God is speaking of. So the psalmist then uses that, and so even God might address the king as God because of his representing him on the earthly throne.